Welcome to Springfield City Council Chambers. My name is Michael Fenton. I am the chair of the Intergovernmental State and Federal Relations Committee. I'm joined by the other two members of the committee, Councilor at Large Kateri Walsh and Councilor from Ward 3, Melvin Edwards. We're also joined by Councilor Jose Delgado, Councilor Gerry Martin, and Councilor Brian Santaniello. The purpose of tonight's meeting that I've called is to hear presentations from proposers who submitted a response to the RFP from DCAMM for the Springfield Regional Justice Center project. The reason that I think that this meeting is important to have is for transparency with the Springfield and Greater Hampden County public. There's been a lot of attention and discussion to this very important public-private partnership. And this will be the first time that the public has had an opportunity to hear from the proposers about their vision for their particular site, both through this DCAMM process and possibly after, irrespective of the outcome. So tonight's format will be that each proposer that has signed up by the deadline, which we in our notice said was Tuesday at 5 o'clock, will have 10 minutes to present. The order of the presentation is going to be first Parkview South with Mr. Peter Picknelli and his group. Then it will be USPB-JV LLC. That's Mr. Belise's affiliate. We will then hear from Mr. Dinesh Patel, for three separate locations that he proposed, one at 1515 Main Street, one at 1550 Main Street, and one at 275 Chestnut. And last, we will hear from State Street 55 LLC and Mr. Paul Picknelli's group for 55 State Street. We're not going to entertain any questions from councilors or the public during the presentations so that everyone will have an opportunity with the time that we have tonight to be heard. Once all the presenters have finished, we will then open it up to questions or comments from the City Council, but not the public. And after that is concluded, we will end the meeting. I will keep the time here. I'm reminded that we have some participants remotely, so I apologize for not recognizing you. We're also joined by Councilors Govan and Whitfield, who are participating remotely. Thank you. At the conclusion of the presentations, we will have some time for questions or comments from the City Council, and then we will conclude the meeting. There won't be any votes or any recommendations or anything of that kind tonight. The purpose of tonight's meeting is to hear from the proposers who wish to be heard on their vision for the future of their proposed courthouse site. The four proposers who were invited but declined to participate this evening are Greatland Realty Partners, Iconic Real Estate Holdings, Liberty Junction, and HYM Investment Group. So, is there any questions from the council about the process that we're going to have tonight? Are we good to go? Okay, I will keep the time up here, and as appropriate, I'll remind you when you have 5 minutes left, and then again when you have 1 minute. Focus Springfield, thank you for organizing a lot of the IT and audiovisual issues tonight. So I understand that everything is ready to be presented in an organized way to the public. So with that, the first proposer that we'll hear from for 10 minutes is Parkview South LLC and Mr. Peter Picknelli's group. If you could start by just introducing yourself, Mr. Fitzgerald, and I will, as I said, I'll remind you when we get to 5 minutes. Could you please turn your microphone on?
Good. Thank you, Chairman Fenton. Councilors Walsh, Edwards, and the other councilors present, both here and online. My name is Frank Fitzgerald. I'm the Vice President of Opal Real Estate Group, and I come before you representing Gateway Justice Partners. And I appreciate you providing this opportunity to highlight for the committee and the members of the public the details and value of the Gateway Justice Partners Riverfront proposal, especially as it compares to the Liberty Street proposals selected by the Commonwealth's DCAMM. Gateway Justice Partners plans to design, deliver, and maintain a world-class justice center located on the Springfield Riverfront. It's a project that will transform an underutilized section of downtown Springfield, spur more economic development in the north end of the city, and provide a great number of jobs locally. But I'm not here to talk about all of the project's benefits and the overall design. My presentation focuses on the following 3 points. First, the proposal selected by the Commonwealth is not the cheapest proposal. Second, the chosen development team has zero experience with courthouses. And thirdly, Gateway Justice Partners submitted the only bid that gives the courthouse back to the Commonwealth upon the expiration of the initial 40-year lease term. So as to my first point, the absolutely false number 1. The Liberty Street proposal is not $300 million less than the next lowest proposal. Based on a true apples-to-apples comparison, our cost to the Commonwealth is $80 million less than Liberty Street's proposal. That's $80 million less. Our $1.564 billion proposal includes the cost for land, construction, financing, maintenance and capital improvements across the entire 40-year lease term, a negotiated PLA, that's a project labor agreement, and sustainability measures meeting the Commonwealth's highest standards. So to be clear, in our proposal, any cost overruns in any of those areas would be the responsibility of Gateway Justice Partners and not the responsibility of the Commonwealth taxpayers. We've got it soup to nuts from beginning to end. By comparison, the Liberty Street proposal of $1.644 billion caps at $5 million the cost of all their capital improvements, and they pass through most of the operating costs back to the Commonwealth. Now, current industry standards call for capital maintenance reserves of millions of dollars per year, yet the Liberty Street proposal budgets a mere $5 million for the entire lease term. Anything over that, the Commonwealth's taxpayers will be on the hook to maintain the building. Additionally, our governor has publicly stated her support for PLAs. The Liberty Street proposal does not include one. Ours does. I'm wondering if the Commonwealth will attempt to add this cost after the fact, thus increasing the actual cost of the Liberty Street proposal. Also, Liberty Street does not include free parking for those using the Justice Center. Where's the justice in that? Our plan includes 722 free on-site parking spaces. So in accepting the Liberty Street proposal, the Commonwealth assumed a great deal of risk in the form of hidden costs to the taxpayers. And the narrative that the selected proposal is the cheapest by $300 million is a false narrative, used to defend selecting a proposal that is not the cheapest nor best value and has too many hidden costs to the taxpayers. And as to my second point, absolutely false number 2. FD Stonewater and Kojo Partners as developers have zero experience in overseeing design, construction, and operation of a courthouse. Zero. It has been reported that they have a great deal of courthouse experience across the country. They do not. They have never built a courthouse. And after decades of deplorable conditions in the current courthouse, do we really want to entrust the next 40 years to an inexperienced developer and operator? The Gateway Justice Partners staff have designed, built, and operated 12 courthouses since 2010.
5 more minutes.
Sorry?
You have 5 more minutes.
Thanks. No other bidding team comes close to this experience. So it begs the question, why would the Commonwealth award a nearly $2 billion courthouse project to a developer that has no true courthouse development experience? And my third point, the Justice Gateway Partners proposal is the only proposal that would give the courthouse building and land to the Commonwealth upon the execution of the 40-year lease. Commonwealth gets it free and clear. DCAMM chose a proposal that would force the Commonwealth to continue to lease the property for up to 20 years and a courthouse that has all its debt service paid off. That's a fact that should be concerning to everybody. The taxpayers paid for this project. They should own it. Our proposal will save the Commonwealth hundreds of millions of dollars. And finally, I'd like to leave you with this. If you have a developer who constructs a building without the responsibility for the full cost of maintaining and replacing it, nor are they responsible for capital improvements over the lifetime of the lease, what incentive does that developer have to build the highest quality building possible? None. There's no incentive. When the incentive is to build as cheaply as possible, that's what the taxpayers will get. The Gateway Justice proposal is structured differently. We take responsibility for the building throughout the lease term. That creates accountability and aligns our interests with those of the Commonwealth and the taxpayers. We do not believe that the selected proposal represents the best deal for the taxpayers, and we believe it raises serious questions that deserve clear and transparent answers. And if you would like to take a closer look at our proposal and our project, the QR code up on the screen, please feel free to use that to take a look. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee members. I appreciate your time, and I'll be happy to respond to any questions when you're ready.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fitzgerald. We're going to hold questions till the end. You have a few more minutes, but we'll yield that to the end for more questions. Okay. So thank you very much. Our next proposer is USPB JV, Mr. Jeb Belize. Mr. Dennis.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to present today. All of the presenters here today, ironically, are friends, competitors, and business partners of mine. I kind of get a kick out of that. We have a big investment in Springfield collectively, especially around Tower Square in the center of downtown. That does not entitle any of us, and we all know this, to winning a bid. We understand it's a competitive world and there can only be one winner. But what we do think is that we are entitled to a process that is fair, transparent, follows the Commonwealth's own rules, and is free from conflict of interest. Today, we're going to show you what we have, and Tom will go through a lot of the details, and I'll follow up. Thank you. Tom.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Tom Dennis. I'm an engineer by education, project manager by trade, and executive by reluctance. But I've built plants all over North America, Europe, South America for the past 45 years. Very complex, large facilities that have for a customer base in the food industry that requires assurance of outcome as well as speed to market. So I know a lot was made of our 28-month schedule, but we started with a 33-month schedule. We actually did preliminary steel drawings, and we did the electrical drawings to make sure that we were ready, if designated, to start the clock, put steel out to bid, purchase it, and also buy all the long lead electrical equipment. I mean, from the very start, and this was our team, collectively, we wanted to put a world-class facility, courthouse, in the right location in Springfield. So, in order to do that, we went out and found Elkus Manfredi. David Manfredi was brilliant in his interpretation of what a courthouse should be, a modern courthouse. HDR, who has built courthouses all over the world, brought their team to bear, and we also brought in Suffolk Construction, who we thought could execute on a fast-track basis, because we understand the urgency of getting this courthouse prepared and built for the people who need it. Our proposal was designed around how the courthouse should actually work every day. It's departments, clerks' offices, courtrooms, juror staffs, public service organizations, all in a way that would support the most efficient movement through the building in each section on one complete floor. We provided on-site security and parking with approximately 122 secured parking spaces, a very secure and multi-use sally port that would keep the court employees and the plaintiffs separate. And we also designed the building around the people who use the courthouse. But more importantly, we wanted this to be a hallmark for the city. It was our backyard, and it was really important to us. So we think that we have the right location for this courthouse, the right team to execute it, and frankly, we think we can execute it the most expediently of any team.
Talk about location just a little bit more. We will be submitting to Chairman Fenton a economic study on what happens if a courthouse is moved out of the central business district. And in that study, actually, one of the case studies was in Chicopee. Very, very interesting and telling in terms of the impact it could have. Our location is within basically a pedestrian walk of about a half mile from Tower Square, and the science behind that is important. And from my point of view, one of the reasons that I got into the bid in the first place was to keep it in the downtown, to take care of and protect the trial court employees that are here and do what's best for downtown Springfield, which in turn helps Hampden County taxpayers and Springfield as a whole.
You have 5 more minutes.
Great. I think after talking to my competitors and looking, and particularly Dinesh and Paul, there was a consensus that we need to keep this in the central business district. The fragile nature, and all you have to do is walk it or drive it and see the vacancies that are around, the impact that would have on everybody's business and property values should we lose a courthouse into a neighboring neighborhood that's just too far away for the attorneys to walk comfortably and do business with all the vendors, restaurateurs, and everything else going on. So with that, I appreciate your time and consideration and the opportunity to actually show the world what the proposers have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Our next presenter is Mr. Dinesh Patel's group. Mr. Patel, your organization had, organizations you're affiliated with had 3 different locations: 1515 Main Street, 1550 Main Street, and 275 Chestnut. And I understand that you're going to speak about them to the extent that you do in that order. Because you had 3 different proposals, we've afforded you up to 30 minutes. You're certainly not obligated to use all of it, but because there's 3 different proposals here, I thought it was fair that you have that time if you'd like it. So
yeah,
how will you proceed?
We will go 10, 10, and 10 with 3 different presenters.
Okay, so and you're going to start with 1515 Main, correct?
Yes, Mr. Fenton.
Okay, so you may begin.
I'd like to thank everybody for what's already been said, because I don't think we disagree with it one iota. And it's heartwarming to see it looks like a Springfield business reunion here tonight. It's good to see people haven't seen face to face in a little bit of time. I think everybody is focused on Springfield. I think we all love Springfield. I think we're from Springfield. And we've gone through blood, sweat, and tears here in Springfield. I'd like to focus on myself for a second. My name is Demetrius Panteliakis. I'm the president of Macmillan Group, commercial real estate firm here in Springfield, housed at Tower Square. I represent approximately 1.5 million square feet of office and retail space in the downtown. My job, day to day, is to convince people to move their businesses down to downtown Springfield. I do it day in and day out. I'm here to advocate for the Central Business District, commonly referred to in our business as the CBD, and the proposed courthouse project at 1515 Main. Now, the CBD has struggled, but let's talk about the center of the CBD. The CBD comprises of a radius of about 100 yards from the center of the intersection of Main and Boland Way and Harrison Avenue. I wouldn't use the CBD term loosely. The epicenter of the CBD includes Tower Square, Monarch Place, 1550 Main, and TD Bank Building. The heart of this proposal is Steigers Park, the location of the old Steigers flagship department store, which no one would argue was the center of the city of Springfield for those of us old enough to fondly remember it. The CBD houses, between the buildings, Class A office spaces that I've mentioned, 80 to 90% of the law firms, banks, insurance agencies, national financial services firms, accounting firms, and even court reporting firms. The CBD is not just the center of business for Springfield, but all municipalities in Hampden County represented in this RFP. Between Main and Worthington, you will also find a predominance of the city's small eateries, bodegas, and services shops. The CBD has struggled. We all know the struggles. We've been a part of these struggles. But over the last 10 years, the safety, cleanliness, walkability of the CBD has greatly improved. And we have seen a return of many businesses that left us for rural settings. The addition of a courthouse into the CBD would ignite the resurgence of our Main Street, with its shops and restaurants to the extent that we haven't seen in over 25 years. I would use Worcester as a prime example. Worcester's courthouse development project moved its courthouse from the outskirts of the CBD to the center, right next to Hanover Theater, which later was renovated, closer to City Hall. Nobody here can deny what we've seen happen to Worcester in the last 10 to 15 years. The resurgence of the shops on Main Street, the filling of the empty stores, the walkability of the Main Street has brought it thriving back at a time when most people thought it couldn't be done again. They serve for us as a prime example of what can happen. Next one, please. This is an aerial view of what we are anticipating, sitting right next to Pleasant Park, which is already zoned for this purpose, I may add. The site is cleaned and ready to construct. Within the Central Business District, the economic activity of 23 surrounding municipalities. You can go ahead and thank you. Situated at Steigers Park on Main Street within the Metro Business Improvement District at the heart of the downtown Springfield. It sustains foot traffic that supports existing downtown retail and restaurants. Proximity to the Metro Police Watch enhances public safety. The site, as I said, is shovel-ready, no known environmental issues, and existing public utilities in place, enabling a quicker start and faster construction.
You have 5 more minutes.
Thank you. When you compare the bids to triple net lease, which us brokers love to do, when it breaks down to the square foot, this proposal is the lowest bid. It has the lowest base rent costs with operating expenses. And I can't emphasize this enough, I'll probably say it 3 or 4 times, $12 million in annual tax revenue. And it is estimated, and the proposal calls for, no real estate tax abatement requests in the future. Thank you. We are also backed by union labor, PLA. I think you'll find that all of these proposals will be PLA. It's a fully compliant gross lease term, which was required in the RFP, and that's an important point. I'd like to move to our economic impacts. 856 full-time construction jobs at prevailing wage, $12 million in annual real estate tax to the city of Springfield, $3.4 million in building permit fees to the city of Springfield, $350,000 allocated for street paving and improvements, $252,000 increase in spending and meal tax revenue to local economy, $50,000 allocated to police details, $40,000 annual business improvement district fees. Next slide, please. Thank you. Access and parking. 3,825 pre-existing public parking spaces are leveraged. This is commonly the assets of the Springfield Parking Authority, which have been severely underutilized for a number of years, especially since the removal of the federal courthouse. In addition, the total availability of parking spaces is 5,806 overall, including the 70 secured underneath subterranean on the site. Located within the Springfield's pedestrian zone and area was highly rated by the planning tools. An EPA walkability index of 15.67 out of 20, most walkable and highest category. GSA Smart Location Walk score of 92, GSA Smart Location Transit score of 80. And I would argue that of all of the sites that you're reviewing tonight, that this one has the easiest walkability, the access to the most amenities, and the economic impact to those existing shops and restaurants and bodegas that have stuck with us for years on Main Street. It is zoned by right, Business C, for the proposed design. It meets LED Silver certification per the RFP. It's DCAMM program compliant courthouse design featuring 29 courtrooms, abundant natural light through extensive exterior glazing, secure fully separated circulation for court staff, public, and detainees, highest level of indoor air filtration, MERV 15 system, and it addresses all of the issues that led to the desire of a new courthouse. I would then acknowledge our development team, our owners, Dinesh Patel and Vid Maida, are here present. Our construction company is Consigli. Our property managers are CBRE out of Boston. Other potential savings, operating expenses grounded in direct experience managing 2 million square feet directly across the street at Tower Square in 1550, and a potential of reduction of collaborative design refinements with DCAMM. I thank you very much for the opportunity, and I hope what comes across is a passionate desire to rebuild the center of our CBD for the people on Main Street, for those of us who spend our day in and day out advertising Springfield as the business place to be in Western Massachusetts and Hampden County. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay. So the next proposal, also supported by the Patel Group, is 1550 Main Street.
Hi, good evening, councilors. My name is Rishi Patel, and my family and I own and operate the mixed-use Tower Square complex in the heart of downtown, including the Marriott Hotel and 1515 Main Street office building. I want to start off by saying that we are deeply committed to the downtown and the city center community, and have proven that with our significant investments. But more importantly, we personally work in the downtown every single day, so we fully recognize the important effects a project of this size has on our entire community. On behalf of our entire Springfield 1550 LLC team, I'll be presenting our project at 1550 Main Street, and I'll try to not repeat 1550 Main too much. I want to note that 1515 Main Street LLC is a Massachusetts registered entity, and we're a certified minority business in the city of Springfield. Next, please. This is a quick video, a 3D rendering of our proposed Justice Center at 1550 Main. As you can see, it matches the stature of the neighboring downtown buildings. Next, please. Coming to location and downtown impact, we believe this is one of the most important pieces of the RFP. Today, 1550 Main Street is a Class A office building, but it's important to note that it was originally built as the U.S. Federal Courthouse in 1981. And it's important to note that because the same dynamics and reasoning behind putting the U.S. Federal Courthouse at 1550 Main Street in 1981 do still apply in 2026. Our proposal is to redevelop 1550 Main back to its original use as a courthouse, which will allow for a sustainable repurpose of an existing building. And by being in the city center and the heart of downtown and CBD, 1550 Main is able to build upon the existing foot traffic that strongly supports our downtown retail and small businesses. It stays proximate to the existing Metro Police Watch, which will ensure the public safety of court staff and visitors. And it will utilize the existing public infrastructure that's already there to allow for faster construction and minimize waste of any new infrastructure spending. Since the building was originally built as a U.S. Federal Courthouse, we have the potential for a shortened construction period, as we're able to reuse the existing building shell, and we're also able to redesign the existing underground secure parking garage that's there today. Additionally, we have a secure airwalk to the city-owned parking garage right behind 1550 Main Street, which will remove the need to build a new parking garage. Coming to cost to the taxpayers in our proposed lease terms, we have zero future real estate tax abatement and incentive requests. We're fully committed to being a fully contributing taxpayer to the city of Springfield. We've committed to the PLA and supporting the union and local labor jobs. Our operating expense projections are directly grounded in our boots on the ground experience at the 2 million square foot Tower Square complex right next door. And if given the chance to collaboratively discuss with DCAMM and the trial court, we believe we can achieve additional cost reductions. Finally, we have a fully compliant gross lease per the RFP. Economic impacts. Considering this is the largest economic development project in Western Mass in decades, this is a very big one. We have an estimated 856 full-time jobs with PLA, 13.7 million in annual real estate taxes, 3.4 million in building permit fees, and similar to the previous project, we have street and paving improvements allocated in our budget to improve the surrounding neighborhood outside of the project site, as well as our economic studies have proven a minimum 252,000 increase in local spending at our small businesses, which will also drive meal tax revenue. We've committed to extra police details to ensure safety, as well as 40,000 will be an annual fee to the Business Improvement District and their team, and to support them in their amazing work in keeping our downtown CBD and city center safe and clean. Similar to 1550 Main, we're able to leverage the existing 3,800 public parking spaces, which in turn benefits the city-owned Springfield Parking Authority. We again have 5,800 total parking spaces and 70 secure underground parking spaces for the courthouse staff. 17 established PVTA transit lines with dedicated stops right in front of 1550 Main, like it is today. We are a 7-minute walk to Union Station, and again, we have one of the highest walkable scores for the EPA.
Five more minutes.
Thank you. Next, please. Coming to building and design, very similar to 1515 Main again. We are zoned by right, Business C, for the proposed design, and we fully comply with the proposed uses and recommendations in the City of Springfield zoning ordinance. We meet the LEED Silver certification, which will allow for a supremely energy efficient building for many decades. Fully DCAMM trial court program compliant in our design with 29 courtrooms and all the offices. We purposely designed this building with extensive natural light coming in from every single angle that's possible. We have a fully secure, fully separated circulation pattern for the public, the staff, the judges, the detainees, and purposely designed the highest level of indoor air purification, knowing the existing issues today with MERV 15. Again, we have the same development team from 1515, Dinesh Patel and Vid Midha, with CBRE, Consigli, and I want to highlight our extensive minority and woman-based enterprises on our design team as well. Thank you to the City Council for providing this opportunity to present this project, and we want to ask for your support in keeping the courthouse in the city center. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Patel. Okay, so the last Patel Group presentation is for 275 Chestnut.
Yes, thank you, Chairman Fenton. Greetings to councilors. My name is Bob Ross. I'm an attorney for the Tower Square Group, and I'm here to run through the proposal for 275 Chestnut Street, which it's important to understand is really distinct from the other two that the Tower Square Group has made. The 275 Chestnut Street location is not in the Central Business District, unlike the two proposals you just heard about from my colleagues. But in the interest of completeness, we want to describe the 275 Chestnut Street proposal for you as an architecturally diverse alternative proposal that's outside the direct city center. Yes, next slide, if you could play this slide. This is an animation of the location and what it would allow. The building on the right is a standalone 7-story garage, which is able to be on site in this location because of the larger footprint. Please move on to the next slide. This site is the former site of the YMCA building, with which many people may be familiar. It is a clean site. There are no known environmental issues, and public utilities are in place, which facilitates quick start and construction. Next slide. For the lease cost and lease terms, it has many of the same strengths you've heard about previously. There's anticipated to be backed by a project labor agreement. It has no anticipated future real estate tax abatement requests. Its operating expenses are based on the same experience you've heard about from the Tower Square Group in operating office buildings in the Springfield area, and it has additional potential of use of adjoining buildings by working with DCAMM and the trial court. It is in the presentation, it was presented as a fully compliant gross lease basis as DCAMM required. Next slide. You've heard some of these same economic impacts. The same team is doing these. 856 full-time construction jobs. You will note that the annual real estate tax for this is the highest anticipated among these three proposals of $13.8 million. Accordingly, there's similarly slightly higher building permit fees for this one that the city can anticipate, and it has many of the same other economic impacts in terms of street parking and improvements, and the anticipated increase in indirect spending that accompanies a project of this scale in Western Massachusetts. Please go to the next slide. One of the really important things about this that distinguishes it is the standalone 7-story parking garage on site. This does not benefit from the other Springfield Parking Authority and other facilities that are in the Central Business District, but it does have a roughly 700 space 7-story parking garage on site. This site, given its location, really has quite direct access to I-291 and I-91, which offers the strength of making it easier for people not from the direct Springfield area to access this site. Like the others, it offers subterranean parking, a total of 70 underground spaces, and there are, I think, 95 some odd spaces adjoining that are within the quarter-mile parking area. The walkability scores for this are not as strong because of its location, but it does have the same other benefited scores as measured by the GSA and in terms of transit access. please move to the next slide. Same development team. You've heard quite a bit about this development team, and it's the prevalence of minority business enterprises on this that are all certified by the Commonwealth, and that's a point to be proud of. Next slide. The building and design, this one is not in the same location. It doesn't have the same surroundings. This one, therefore, is a little more wide open. And there's some renderings on here of the entryway and other facilities. It benefits quite a bit from the, it has the same openness to lighting that appears in the other ones. Here, that obviously is accented by its surroundings, which are not as high. Otherwise, the same sort of strengths that you've heard about with the other proposals. Next slide. We're grateful to the City Council and to this committee for providing this opportunity to consider this alternative vision in the Business B District. That's a point of emphasis. This one, unlike the other two proposals from the Tower Square Group, is a part of, it would be in the Business B District. It would require some further actions by the permitting authorities to enable a project of this scale to happen. But this project in this location involves the reuse of a significant site that's familiar to many residents in Springfield. It's well connected to transportation options, and while it's outside of the city center, it remains an architecturally diverse, well-rounded proposal for use in a Business B district. And we look forward to the questions from the committee and the council. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Attorney Ross. Okay, and the next and final presentation will be from State Street 55 LLC. Good evening, Mr.
Councilors.
McNally.
Thank you for your opportunity to speak with you today. We do have a video that we'd like to start at this point.
A major redevelopment is taking shape in the heart of downtown Springfield. A new courthouse designed with the city's history, people, and future in mind. Leading the effort is Monarch Enterprises and Fontaine Brothers, two well-respected, multi-generational local Springfield-based companies that live, work, and invest right here in the community. Deeply rooted in the city, they bring local knowledge and a strong commitment to Springfield's economic and civic future. Supporting them is an experienced and creative design team made up entirely of New England-based professionals. Civil, landscape, and traffic consultants all have a Springfield office. The architectural effort is being led by Feingold Alexander Architects of Boston, a respected women-owned business. Feingold Alexander brings proven experience to the table, having completed over a dozen courthouse projects to date. The proposed team has partnered with DCAMM and the Massachusetts Trial Court on major projects for more than 35 years. On the construction side, Fontaine Brothers, in partnership with Demio Construction, returns to familiar territory, working with Feingold Alexander. Additionally, the new Springfield Courthouse marks the third collaboration between Feingold Alexander and Demio Construction on a courthouse project. Our Fontaine Demio construction team offers a proven track record of success on large, complex projects, consistently meeting and exceeding diversity and local hiring goals while maintaining strong, collaborative relationships with local unions. The proposed site is directly across from the current courthouse, a location familiar to residents, legal professionals, and public servants alike. It's conveniently located near parking, public transit, law offices, and restaurants, fostering a seamless transition and maintaining ease of access for the public. The new design celebrates Springfield's rich history, including potential public art on the exterior that highlights the city's many firsts, making the site a destination even for those not entering the courthouse. The entry plaza will feature landscape seating areas that provide seating and security while creating an inviting atmosphere. A transparent, universally accessible entrance welcomes visitors into a two-story civic pavilion where public amenities like the Court Service Center and public meeting spaces are front and center. Inside, the design focuses on user experience and intuitive wayfinding. Every courtroom in the new building will have access to natural light, and interior spaces are thoughtfully designed with natural calming color palettes and materials. Public lobbies are flooded with natural light and provide vistas to downtown Springfield. A variety of seating options provide choice to accommodate different mobility needs and include protected seating with clear sight lines to support people who have experienced trauma. Views of the Connecticut River, Memorial Bridge, and Springfield's 9/11 Memorial enhance the calming environment during what can often be a stressful time. Outside, the building's architectural expression balances civic dignity with transparency, reinforcing the values of the Massachusetts Trial Court. The Justice Center will be an all-electric courthouse equipped with a rooftop solar, high-performance insulation, triple-glazed windows, and energy-efficient mechanical systems. For safety and efficiency, secure service entries, including judges' parking and detainee access and loading, will be discreetly placed at the rear along MGM Way. With its prominent location, visible from Interstate 91 and Memorial Bridge, this project is more than a building. It's a civic, iconic addition to the Springfield skyline and a courthouse that serves as a physical and symbolic landmark for justice in Western Massachusetts. With decades of experience designing Massachusetts courthouses and deep roots in Springfield, the Monarch Enterprises Fontaine Demio and Feingold Alexander team is uniquely qualified to lead this transformation.
Thank you.
Thank you. You have just about 5 minutes left. Thanks.
I'll do it quick. We do have a slideshow here, and I'd like to highlight the center section here that says that this central location keeps all the commerce in downtown core, preserving economic vitality, sustaining small businesses, and avoiding disruption to Springfield's existing legal and service ecosystem. And below that, we believe that not one single business or individual will be negatively impacted by the relocation of this existing courthouse. And my friends and colleagues here, my fellow hoteliers and my favorite used car salesman, Jeb, identified the economic impact that this courthouse we had. We did just the opposite. We produced a negative impact study on what it would cost the city and what the negative impact would be if you relocated the courthouse outside of downtown Springfield. And we think that that's crucial to our conversation. Next slide, please. This is just something about Monarch Enterprises, and I'm just going to highlight one area. Westfield Courthouse in the center there. We have owned and operated the Westfield Courthouse for the past 25 years. We have been there and DCAMM's landlord for 25 years. We have had an excellent working relationship with them, and we continue to work well with them. Next slide, please. These are just civic organizations. That wasn't supposed to be there. Next slide, please. The development team here is of Feingold Alexander. When we worked together with Feingold and all the development team, we did not want to build the cheapest courthouse. We wanted to build the right courthouse for the city of Springfield. Feingold Alexander has built 12 courthouses, and they've just completed the Hope Courthouse in Lowell, Mass., and that they are currently working with Demio Construction on the courthouse in Framingham. We believe the city of Springfield, which is the largest courthouse in the system, deserves the proper courthouse for our city. The cost to build this facility is exactly the same price per square foot that was paid for in Lowell, as well as the courthouse that's currently under construction today in Framingham. With me today is Dave Fontaine, the president of Fontaine Brothers, who teamed up with Demio, and they are currently has presented in our proposal an 18-page report identifying the cost to build this courthouse, and the selected developer produced 4 lines. 4 lines identifying the cost for their structure, as opposed to 18 pages that were identified as detailed information. We believe it's unconscionable that they've selected a company that produced 4 lines on their cost proposal. It's about $80 million less than the courthouse that was presented, and we believe having the least cost proposal is not in the best interest of the city of Springfield. Next slide, please. One of the most significant design features it has is a custom 2-story translucent glass wall that pays homage to the history of Springfield and also highlights the importance of the judicial system in Springfield. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. We had a little bit of a technical difficulty. Excuse me, councilors. This slide here, if you can go back, thank you. This slide depicts our translucent glass in the evening. It's a civic beacon for on State Street. It's 183 feet long and 65 feet tall. Basically, it's a stained glass depicting the history of Springfield and pays homage to the city of First. We believe that's an impressive image for the gateway into Springfield. And final with me is our partner on this project, West Mass Development Corporation, who has operated over 1.5 million square feet in commercial real estate, and his organization is identified the cost difference between Liberty and our proposals and others in this room. And we believe that the cost for Liberty's proposal is not the cheapest. And again, we believe the city of Springfield should not settle for the cheapest courthouse.
Just one more minute, please, Mr. Bicknell.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to defer to Jeff at this point in time.
Okay, Mr. Daly, if you could wrap it up in 1 minute, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you all for having me. Real quick, one of the application points was the Commonwealth prefers a flat fee, meaning across the 40 years they want one number, they pay the bill. Our proposal, we carry construction period taxes, meaning we would pay on the assessed value during construction period, as well as we carried $15 million a year for property taxes. 125 Liberty Street carried a budget number of $1.2 million a year. CapEx, we carried a $3.3 million year over year, growing through a revenue reserve fund. 125 Liberty Street carried 0. OpEx, $2.2 million, same fund. Liberty carried 0. They put in their language, this is public record, it's taken from them. Commencing at the end of lease year 1 and each subsequent lease year thereafter, additional rent will be reconciled based upon the actual OET at the end of each lease year, meaning they're going to submit to the state a very large $20, $25, $30 million bill and says on top of our base rent, you now need to pay this additional funds.
If you could just wrap up, please, so it
Yes.
could be fair to everybody else who time.
We have no height restrictions, and we also did take into consideration the current courthouse and juvenile courthouse for redevelopment purposes. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you to the presenters, the members of the public who have joined us here this evening, my colleagues on the council, particularly on this committee, Councilors Walsh and Edwards. I think that was a very informative presentation that demonstrated that we have some developers, particularly some local developers, that have spent a lot of time, talent, and treasure on putting forward some creative and effective proposals for the Springfield Regional Justice Center. With that, I'll turn it over first if there's any comments or questions from members of the committee, and then we'll go to the council at large. Are there any comments from members of the committee?
Thank you very much, and thank you to all the presenters. Listening to everybody here today, I think I represent a lot of people in the city, and perhaps my colleagues, and my brother Bill, who was the DA for 20 years in the courthouse they're replacing, and I have 2 nephews who are now prosecutors in that same courthouse. So we have a personal interest. How disappointed we were when someone in this room was not picked to be the developer of that courthouse, because we felt you knew the needs, you knew the people, you supported the city, and you were really looking out for our benefit. So I don't know what we can do to help you, but I am willing to do it. If there's anything that we as city council members can help you, but I agree with the mayor, and it was such a disappointment that Springfield wasn't put first in this decision. I don't see any need for anybody from Boston, with all the talent we have here, to have been awarded that contract. So I wish you all good luck, and I hope you win your lawsuit.
Thank you, Councilor Walsh. Before I turn it over to Councilor Edwards, I do want to acknowledge that the committee received correspondence from resident Karen Lee of 18 Lawn Street. I see Karen's here tonight. Karen's been on this issue for a while. Thank you, Karen, for this correspondence. We have printed copies, councilors, on our desk, and it is a part of the written record and was submitted electronically. Councilor Edwards?
First of all, I want to applaud all of the applicants and say how much I appreciate the effort you put in. All your presentations were on point. Thank you for taking the time to educate us and give us an opportunity to ask some questions. I would like to actually ask Colton Andrews to come up representing the local labor. One of the interests that I have is I've heard quite often many people mention project labor agreements. It's the closest thing that I can hope for to ensure that my local neighbors, friends, and colleagues in government are seeing our family and relatives working in the construction trades. Colton, could you identify yourself for the audience and for people at home? And then could you respond to several of the comments relating to the project labor agreements? I believe that when I came into the room prior to the presentations, through the process that led up to this meeting, it was pretty consistent. I had heard from my friends in labor that at least one of the proposals, Mr. Pagnelli's, Peter's, I believe, had actually signed or had an agreement. I'm not going to, I'll start with that and allow for you to speak on the statement by many of the presentators that they do have project labor agreements.
Okay, thank you, Councilor. My name is Colton Andrews. I am the president of the Western Mass Building Trades Unions. To answer your question, I think directly and in full transparency, the only proposal that has a signed, agreed upon project labor agreement is Mr. Peter Pagnelli's proposal on the riverfront. In full disclosure, I did have discussions with Mr. Jeb Belize about his project and his proposals. We had discussed about the possibilities. We had kind of let the process play out and would re-examine it further down the road depending on how the timeline played out. I do want to make very clear there was no discussions with Mr. Patel and his group, so I do want to clarify that pretty significantly. We have been in strong support of Mr. Peter Pagnelli's proposal from the get-go. They've been great partners since day one, approached us when this was still just kind of a conceptual idea, so I just want to clarify that as clearly as possible.
Thank you. The only thing I would like to say is I would like to acknowledge that as a part of the record, Karen Lee has been an advocate that not necessarily picked any one particular group over another. Please take the time, all of you, to read her comments. She's been very informative and in support of local investment of this project, so I just wanted to thank her publicly for that and acknowledge that it is well worth your reading. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Edwards. Any other councilors who'd like to speak? Councilor Martin?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I do have one quick question. It was only spoken about by one developer right at the beginning. It was Mr. Peter Pagnelli, and I wanted to ask if any of the other developers had a plan. Mr. Pagnelli had stated that after the 40 years, they were going to, return it to the Commonwealth and have the state operate it as a government entity, as own the building. Do any of the other developers have a plan to return it to the Commonwealth? Is that part of the discussion, part of the thought process? Is there a plan? Anything like that?
Let's open the floor. Mr. Pagnelli, if you'd like to address it, you can. Please come to the podium, please.
I can answer that, Councilor, and no other proposal offered to turn the building over to the state after 40 years. Every other proposal, the state would be on the hook to continue to lease it. And I'll also note, there are active courthouses in Massachusetts today that are 200 years old. Think about that. any other proposal, including the one that was picked, especially the one that was picked, the taxpayers would have to continue to lease it for as long as they wanted it. Our proposal, you get it free and clear, land, building, everything, at the year 40.
Anything else, Councilor Martin?
No, that clears up. Thank you, Mr. Pignelli.
Councilor Davila? Oh, Councilor Delgado.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I want to say thank you to everyone that's here, particularly those businesses and owners who have continually invested in the city of Springfield. We appreciate that. You know, this whole courthouse thing, I've been dealing with it for a while. My biggest thing for this courthouse is the urgency for the staff, for the customers, for anybody who goes into that courthouse. Secondly, the fight was to keep it in Springfield, and I think we were pretty successful in that. And the third fight was keeping it downtown. From there on out, it's economic impact anywhere you go. So I guess my question, and I think that I know of, there's only been one developer that has actually said if they do not get it, that they're going to continue to invest or do something with their parcel. So I guess the open question to all of you guys is, I don't know what this process will play out, but if you don't get it, what do you plan to do with your parcels or sites?
Oh, if any developer would like to respond, you're welcome to. Mr. Belize, and I see Mr. Peter Pignelli also would like to respond. So we'll hear from Mr. Belize first, then Mr. Peter Pignelli.
Yeah, so my commitment to the Historic Commission back about a year ago is, of course, we will work with the city and possibly the state to develop the properties. Many of you know that we redeveloped a lot of the south end, and I was talking earlier about it. It started in 2006, 20 years ago, and we still have a lot of work to do. And when you look at that area and how much vacant space there is, we just can't kid ourselves and think it's going to be an easy push. And that goes back to why we have to protect that central business district. And I'm not saying just our project, any of them, is if we start losing the central business district in downtown, it's going to have an impact on the rest of the city. So we're committed. We're in. Listen, we own our property for cash. We knew this was a business risk and a long-term investment in the city, similar to what we did in the South End. But we can't kid ourselves and think it's going to be something that happens overnight. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Peter Pignelli?
Well, I'm not sure there's anybody in this room that's old enough to remember, but the riverfront in the north end at one point in time was the most vibrant part of our city. It was what was called Pinchin Park. It was the baseball field. Concerts were there. They had races there. They even had horse races there at one point. It was the center of activity in Springfield until it burnt down in the 1960s. Our plan revitalizes that again and brings that vitality back. It doesn't take anything out of the core. It enhances the core of our Springfield. It brings a brand new neighborhood to Springfield. So what would we do if we don't have that? Someday it'll be built because it's a very important part of our city. It is the only land in Springfield. It is the only riverfront land in Springfield that is not encumbered by railroad tracks. There's no other downtown land where you can have direct river access. Everything on the south end is encumbered by railroad tracks. You can't cross it. This is the only piece of land in Springfield that has direct river access. It has to be redeveloped. This is the best opportunity for our city, and someday it'll be a shining star. Hopefully now with the courthouse, if not someday.
Thank you, Mr. Pignelli. Yes, let's just, Councilor Santaniello, let's just let the presenters that would like to respond to this.
Yeah, it was a ball field. It was the Giants, and Mr. Ryan has an interesting story about the last game they played. 1550 right now is a redevelopment, mass development, redevelopment as a Class A office, so that would continue as a Class A office should that not be chosen. The YMCA has been converted into multifamily. I'm sure that that would be improved and continue as such. And as far as the park, I think the highest and best use for the park at this stage without a courthouse on top of it would be to continue it as an open green space for the downtown city. Farmers markets take place there. White Lion puts on evening events there all through the summer. So those are developed pieces of land in their own right. This is just a higher and better use. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Paul Picknelly would also like to respond. Paul?
So I like to answer the question two-part in one direct and one indirect. The indirect way I'd like to address this is Councilor Tesado said that, what is the reuse of the existing site? We think the more important question in this is what is the reuse of the existing courthouse site, 50 State Street? That is an iconic location in downtown Springfield. Our proposal is to work with West Mass Development Corporation to redevelop that property once the courthouse gets relocated to its new facility. And in our proposal, we have any excess funds that are generated from the capital expenses or the operating expenses to go into a nonprofit fund that is held by West Mass Development Corporation's 501c6 operations, and those funds will go towards the redevelopment of 50 State Street, which is the existing courthouse. And that, in my opinion, is more important than the other redevelopment items that were just mentioned here.
Thank you, Mr. Picknelly. Councilor Delgado?
I appreciate that because that's actually something I said when we had the meeting last year with DCAMM is we don't want the state to leave us with a empty, sick building. So I appreciate that piece. And the only thing I'll leave you with is echoing Councilor Edwards is, for me, I'm hearing the PLA agreements and getting folks to work on the property, but I want to make sure that local contractors and folks from the city of Springfield and the region are able to somehow take part because there's a lot of people that are going to be able to make a lot of money, and I want to make sure that some of our Springfield residents can do that as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Davila and then Councilor Santaniello.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, everybody, and thank you for the very good and thorough presentations, and my apologies that I cannot look at you straight in the eyes, but I do have a few questions, Mr. Chair, if you indulge me. I guess the first one is to you, through you, actually. It is my understanding this is currently on the courts right now. I think, according to the public records, a decision will be made. Is this going to eventually come to us one way or the other?
Well, one of the reasons that we're having this meeting tonight is I think it was long overdue for the city to enter the discussion. There's been a lot of discussion with the state about these proposals. Ultimately, it is a state project. DCAMM will make the decision with respect to the construction and final selection, which they purport to have made. I'm not familiar with the litigation except to the extent that I read about it in the newspaper, and I understand that there are some disputes between some of the unsuccessful proposers and the selected proposer. How that will be resolved is to be determined, and whether or not there is a zoning role for the city council to play in the future is also something that's to be determined. I wouldn't be comfortable answering that tonight, but we can certainly talk with the law department and the building inspector to determine what that path would look like. But if there is a formal vote role for the council to take in the future, it would be in the context of zoning, not in the context of awarding the contract or anything else.
I understood, and I think it was important to clarify that so that people want to clear my own question and people who may be fussy about what the expectation of the city council is. With that being said, I have to say, Mr. Chair, as the presenters were presenting today, I thought that unfortunately that the challenger was built with the lowest bidder. And so we saw what happened years ago with that. We cannot be, was it penny wise and pound foolish as well. So this is a significant improvement, a real economic development here in Springfield, and it needs to be done right. and it needs to make sense for the city of Springfield. With that being said, I have some questions for the proposers, if I may, to the presenters. I see that you're talking about the PLAs. The only one that I understand is Mr. Peter Pignelli, who has a signed PLA agreement. I do believe Mr. Patel and maybe Mr. Paul Pignelli did talk about PLA. And so my succinct question to both of you is, given the size and the importance of this project, would you team commit to negotiating a PLA agreement to establish consistent wages, benefits, training, and safety standards, and a reliable supply of skilled labor?
And that question's for, you said Mr. Patel and Mr. Paul Pignelli? Okay, so Mr. Patel, if you'd like to respond, and then if Mr. Paul Pignelli cares to respond, he can have an opportunity.
Yeah. This is Wade. It is true that we do not have an existing agreement with you for PLA, but when state contacted us about a PLA, we accepted formally saying that we would be signing a contract with PLA. Thank you.
Great news.
Thank you. Mr. Fontaine?
Thank you, Dave Fontaine, Fontaine Brothers. We, in partnership with Dimeo Construction, will be the contractor for the State Street 55 project. It is intended that it would be a PLA project. Fontaine was the contractor on several PLA projects in the city, including the Mass Mutual Center, including Court Square. We've also, met and exceeded minority business, local women hiring goals throughout our experience in the city. So it was priced as such. Traditionally, those agreements are executed once a project is awarded and further underway, but that would be our intent.
All right.
Councilor, are you okay with hearing from Mr. Belize, if you'd like to respond to that question as well? Mr. Belize?
I just want to go on the record. We actually presented to DCAMM and shared with them that we had a draft PLA based on the Holyoke Hospital, and we were prepared to sign.
Thank you, Mr. Belize.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have another question to Mr. Patel, if I may. It did catch my eye that I believe in all three projects, the 1550 Main Street, 1550 Main Street, and also on the 275 Chestnut Street, you did talk about a sum of $350,000 for street paving and improvement, which caught my eye. Is that going to be a flat fee, or are you intending to do that adjusted for inflation accordingly?
Mr. Patel?
Thank you, Councilor. Dinesh Patel. I'm the managing partner for Springfield Tower Square LLC. We provided to the DCAMM with the gross lease, whatever expense we source under the lease agreement, we are flat. We're not asking any extra money to the DCAMM, and we are moving forward that way. That's an offsite improvement what we need to do in the city of Springfield. We committed to do that same price.
Right, but would that be that $350,000 for street paving and improvement? Is that going to be a flat fee, or are you intending to adjust it for inflation? Right?
We use based upon our knowledge and consequently provide to the construction costs, that numbers. So if that costs us more, we will be putting more, but we're not going to the DCAMM to ask for the more money. That's it.
All right.
That's in our contingency also.
All right, thank you, Mr. Patel. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you to all, if I may say, thank you to all the presenters. One thing that I felt to all the presenters, Mr. Chair, is their deep love to this great city. With that, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Councilor Santaniello, would you, oh, I'm sorry. Councilor Santaniello walked away. Councilors Edwards or Walsh, would you like to make any final comments before we conclude? Councilor Walsh?
I'd like to say that we truly appreciate you coming down here. What I'd like to know is, what can we do to help you? I mean, what is the next step? What can we do to offer hope to people who'd like to see one of the developers in this room be chosen? I assume that's why you're here, to get our help.
Councilor, what you can do is we can get the media to tell the truth. That's what we'd like to do. The facts that are out there, because the narrative that is being discussed now on the Liberty Street site is simply not true. They're not $300 million less. They don't provide any of the services that most other bidders have, like full capital improvements and full cost of maintenance. They are the big lie, and that's the narrative that's out there. If you want to help us, let's get the media to tell the truth.
Just one more thing worth mentioning is in the conditional letter of approval, DCAMM asked the Liberty Junction to change the design and the size of the facility. And I think it'd be fair to interpret that would be a competition-free rebid. So I think if we're looking for what's best for the taxpayer, a lot of energy and some exciting projects I heard today. In fact, I'm a little bit envious of some of the things I heard. Wouldn't it be wonderful that we could actually rebid this and have it out in the open so people could see what we're getting in Springfield, and maybe Springfield could have some say, and Hampden County could have some say, and be listened to before the final decision. I get it. We don't make the decision, but we'd like to be listened to.
So we believe that we have followed the instructions of RFP application, and we went and submitted all options, all-inclusive gross lease. And the way the comparison is happening is not apples to apples. We request you to put in a request so all the proposals be compared apples to apples. Thank you.
Jeff Daly on behalf of Mr. Paul Pignelli's project. One of the things you can do is hopefully get a calculator to the state, because as Mr. Peter Pignelli said and others here, they didn't do their homework on numbers extracted. As we talked about, they're going to be sending, and this impacts the city, they're going to be sending a $30 million, $20 million check every year, what's called true up at the end of the year. The city's going to have to wait until the state budget goes through in order to get that $20, $30 million extra every year. And if you think the people down in Boston that work here in this city and others are going to quickly write a check to the city of Springfield for taxes and other things because it's an upcharge, it's not going to happen. So I think that's the message, as everybody here has said. There's great projects in this room. We're all proud of Springfield and what we all can do for Springfield, but the state has miscalculated everything. And it's a shame, because if it was all on even par and level, we wouldn't be in this position today.
Once again, I wanted to express my appreciation for all the presentations. I want to thank all of our attendees and my colleagues in government who are here to listen, for those that are at home and those who will watch this on YouTube or on public access in the future. If anything I could take it out of it, there was all great proposals. Only one could win. And at this point, it sounds like the court's going to have a decision to make. DCAMM, who will be involved with that, and you guys will continue to do your advocacy. My hope is that those of you who do not get the award-winning bid, that the disappointment doesn't discourage you from moving forward with something else. I'm hopeful that you're prepared to pivot and to further invest. One of the proposers made reference to the fact that how many years ago he started investing in the neighborhoods and stuff, but all of you have done significant investment. Please, at the end of this process, continue to invest in the city of Springfield. This is the city of my birth. At some point in the near future, it'll be where you'll bury me. So I'm hopeful that regardless whether this is a 40-year lease and regardless of who gets the lease, that those of you who have taken up the mantle of trying to build something better for what the real original purpose was, which was to get those people working in a sick building into a healthy building. Please, please, don't get so discouraged. And I apologize before you even start down the process of coming before me and my colleagues on the City Council. Thank you very much. I believe Peter wants to say something.
Thank you. Sure, if you could be brief, Mr. Pignelli, yes.
I just want to thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Councilors Walsh and Edwards. This is the first opportunity you've given the bidders to speak about their proposals and the talent that's in this room. And I thank you, because if it wasn't for this forum, people in Springfield and taxpayers throughout the state would not know the truth. So I thank you for giving us that opportunity, and I applaud you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Picknelli. So, Paul.
You did it for my brother, you got to do it for me, all right?
That's true. That's fair. You're right.
You have a direct role. You don't have an indirect role. You have a direct role on this decision. This council and the city of Springfield has to approve a variance on the zoning for this facility that is being proposed by DCAMM. There is also a height restriction on the other side of the tracks at 60 feet. Their proposal is well in advance of 60 feet. So you have to vote on whether or not you want to have the courthouse on the other side of the tracks that's going to be not in conforming with the zoning or the height restrictions that are in play. It's in your hands.
Thank you very much. Because I offered those two, do any other proposers want to make a final, very brief closing statement? Anybody else? Or have we concluded? Okay, so I would like to just thank everybody for attending tonight. I'd like to acknowledge our friends in labor. I'm not going to get everybody, but I see Mr. Andrews, Mr. Tranghese, Mr. Russo. I also see Mr. Langoni and others. We've got representatives from some of our neighborhoods, the South End, Leo and Shane. I see Linda and Jeff from Metro Center. Obviously, we recognized Karen earlier for her activism, and our former colleague on the council, Attorney Tim Ryan. Thank you all for joining us. To the proposers, thank you for your investment, for your willingness to come forward and be heard tonight. We recognize that this was a competitive process, but it seems like a friendly competition between many of the local investors. We appreciate your commitment and investment in the city. And personally, I hope that this isn't the end of the discussion. A lot of time, as I said, and treasure has been spent on envisioning what would be best for our downtown. And as a couple of the earlier presenters, I think, said it best, it's high time that Springfield and Hampden County enter the conversation. It really does appear to me that while DCAMM is ultimately the decider for how this contract should be awarded, doing so without forums like this and appropriate input from stakeholders like us on the council and some of the audience who are in this room and watching online really isn't the best path forward. So I appreciate your time and willingness to do this. And with that, we will conclude just before the 7 o'clock hour. Thank you and have a good night.